Hi, I'm Thomas de Grote from Sociale Innovatiefabriek, and I'm really happy that I can share with you our ambitions and plans and ideas for the future. Indeed, we won't look back too much, we will look to the future on how we can support and enable social innovation better. Maybe we should first present ourselves. I'm Thomas de Grote, working for Sociale Innovatiefabriek. Let's first talk about social innovation. Social innovation always is about social innovators. They develop innovative solutions for important social and ecological challenges like poverty, climate change, loneliness, inclusive labor market, energy, aging, biodiversity, and so on. What is our mission? What is our ambition? We would like to make social innovation mainstream in society. Why? Because it's an important leverage to improve society, the society we live in. Very concretely, well, we exist since 2013 and we are supported by the Agency of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, the Flemish Agency of Innovation and Entrepreneurship here in Belgium. We are about 8 people and we support social innovation and entrepreneurship. We have, over the years, we had 850 concepts joining the community, meaning that it's about 100 innovative solutions per year. And we have to be honest, not all of them are alive still, but let's say about 350 cases are active in our community. We also don't work alone. We have a network of 200 enablers from all corners of society. When we talk about social innovation, there is always a triad in the interplay, which is the innovator, the organization, and the concept. Let's make it concrete. At the left side, you see EFje. EFje wanted to make a community center that is different than all the rest. Something innovative, let's say. She baptized it the Stuiverij. It's a place where anyone can enter and start to do something. And she created the space in such a way that the space in itself becomes a place where people can flourish themselves by creating ideas. So she's the innovator and she stimulates people to become innovative. She builds the organization and she's ready to scale. Her concept took some time before her concept was so clear that it could be scaled up, let's say. But in the end, there is a person of EFje, there is the organization, and there is the concept. And how the innovation evolves is defined by how 3 of them evolve. There you see 2 ladies. The lady on the left is Iris. Iris lived in poverty herself, and she was very convinced that the organization that she would build, it's called Organized Met Iris, cleaned up with Iris, could help people to kind of overcome a difficult period in life by cleaning up the house together with Iris. Sometimes there are organizations building an innovative solution, which is the case of Iedereen verdient vakantie by the Agency of Tourism in Flanders. Of course, we'll get back to that later, because that's the case we will talk about today. What you see here is a slow motion of a popcorn coming to life, which is, to our idea, the best way to describe the evolution of a social innovation. Because when we talk about social innovation, it doesn't come by itself, and somehow it grows. At first, you have, let's say, the concept phase, where they create the concept and where the concept becomes more and more concrete. Then, second step, you have the startup phase, where somehow the impact model, as they call it, so how they do bring change in society, linked to the intervention or to what they do or to what they offer concretely, but also a kernel of, let's say, the business model behind it becomes more clear, meaning that somehow there is some income linked to what is being provided for society as an intervention. The yellow circle is where we talk about scaling up, where the social innovation is really brought to society by rolling out, mostly geographically, the innovation. And then there is a link to scaling up, which is a pink circle, scaling up and also system change. We don't have time here to discuss much deeper about what system change is and how it is linked to, in fact, every step of the process that you see in front of you. But let's consider system change as the last stage, except for the end game, where, let's say, the social innovation stops from existing, meaning that the social challenge, solution, issue has been relieved or resolved. So, but how are we really supporting social innovation at Sociale Innovatiefabrik? Well, it's a roadmap, but every roadmap is kind of tailor-made. So this is, let's say, an important challenge for our organization. We have a lot of expertise, we have a huge network of enablers and social innovators. We have tools, and there is a constant inflow of social innovations to our organization. As I said, 100 per year, and let's say the community is growing. They always can come back to us. So we provide them information about what social innovation is. We do one-on-one talks, so we could see, not as a consultant, but as we call it a process manager, what they need at this point in their process. We guide them through, let's say, possible steps that need to be taken. We give them inspiration based on, let's say, what we have in the community, but also what international examples are there. We support them with workshops, with peer support, with non-financial coaches in our community, sometimes voluntarily, sometimes with mentorship programs. And of course, there is the money part, okay, the financing of social innovation, where, let's say, the spectrum is very broad, which is, of course, let's say, the richness of what we can provide via our network. We promote social innovation because if you want to make social innovation, you need mainstream, you need to bring it to society. There is our community, and I have to say, we have to count the enablers there as well, because they, as they see what social innovation is, they become more innovative themselves. And that's why, for example, entrepreneurship programs for social innovation are a step that we are taking now at this point. We have a lot of expertise, as I said, about business modeling, impact-driven business modeling, finance mix, finance plan, impact measurement, pitching, scaling, and also system change. So you can say that our expertise has been growing together with our growing community of innovators. And to end with, there is a network. The network is always there. So when they come back to us, we can always try to find somebody to link them to. So why did we start HUBSI? In fact, it's quite simple. We realized that we need to take a higher level of intervention if we really want to bring social innovation mainstream in society. That's why we realized that we need to focus more on our indirect impact. What does it mean? Well, it's quite simple. We would like to help others, to inspire others on what social innovation is, to inform others what social innovation is, to stimulate others to become more social innovative, to let others and their innovation grow. Why? Because we cannot do this alone, and each one has to play their role in society, bureaucracy as well. So that's why we believe that HUBSI is the next step to be taken. How and what is HUBSI? Well, to be honest, I don't know exactly yet. We have 2 years to create some sort of platform where we enable social innovation more effectively and indirectly together with other enablers in society, including public bodies like the European Social Fund in Flanders. And that's the partner where we start this trip with, this adventure. So we both, and we have to say we all, because we have other stakeholders in our community already, I will come back to that later, would like that everybody that observes a social issue can try to find a solution that finds the necessary support to find an innovative solution and to scale that solution. So question is not whether we should do it, question is how we should do it. And there we suppose that 21st century skills are very crucial. Other elements as well, like a platform. So we have, let's say, a vague idea that we need to focus on some critical skills to create innovative solutions for societal issues and scale those solutions. How that platform looks like, to be honest, I have some assumptions, but it's not concrete yet. So where did we get our inspiration from? It goes way back to 2015 when I met Sine Selick at a conference. And she made this scheme. I won't dig too deep in it, but why do I take this picture? Because the word bureaucracy is there explicitly in her scheme. I'm quite sure Sine will be able to explain it more better. But the main idea is in itself quite simple. Let's say that we have strategic intents, like we do have with HUBSI, to stimulate the emergence and evolution of social innovation. As Sine described it, there is an acceptance cycle and a designer cycle. The designer cycle, well, you have some idea about it, right? An innovator designing a social innovative concept and building an organization around it. Then there is the acceptance cycle. That's where bureaucracy is in the game. Bureaucracy needs to be acceptive for social innovation in all its means that it has, okay? And between it, there is us, Social Innovation Factory, and others that catalyze the designer and acceptance cycle. So what will we do? Well, first of all, this year we still have a lot of work. We have to make the concept that we have to make a proof of concept out of it. Meaning that we will need to make a mapping of social innovation in every corner of society, including social innovation at the level of public bodies. Iedereen verdient vakantie is a top-notch example, as you will see. We will map and interview people from the supporting ecosystem. Really, we need to find out what the real needs are to make social innovation come to life, and what the key success factors are, what KPIs we need to define for HUBSI briefly. The legal framework still is quite young and let's say not totally clear yet, but what is out there that has any link with social innovation will need to be analyzed. And then we will involve a national steering group where representatives from different corners of society, including social innovators, like EFIA, for example, will join the steering group to validate the concept and, of course, later on to help us realize the first pilot of prototype and piloting phase of HUBSI. This is a transnational project, so it also means that we will have peers from Finland, Czech Republic, and Lithuania. So we will learn a lot from one another, and anyone in the audience here who's interested is, of course, very welcome to join us. In 2022, we will make it all concrete. We will build, of course, the HUBSI platform in a lean and incremental way. We will build new partnerships where we believe it needs to be built urgency, from what we've learned, of course, in the first phase. And then awareness building is very important because we need to bring it broadly to society, and we will stimulate and nurture public bodies, but also the public opinion to support social innovation. To end with, this is not just a 2-year project and then it stops. We already have the ambition to roll it further out. How? Well, that's not clear yet, but still, it's quite clear that we have the ambition. To end with, there is the roadmap of support for social innovation of tomorrow. It will look quite similar, but on the other hand, very, very, very different. All those elements that you see on the screen are crucial. Question is not whether they are crucial. Question is, how can we find the best roadmap of tomorrow to support social innovation? Thank you, and looking forward to discussing with you on the topic.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of introducing myself, I would like to start this conversation with a question. The question being that you think about the last time you went on the holidays and about a very meaningful moment at that point. What was meaningful to you, your family, or together with friends, and just have a short reflection on what that holiday memory means to you. Right. You've got probably something in mind. I wanted to start this presentation here by showing you this image that was made by a visual reporter for us, Spunk, and the what is said next to the image is a quote, and it says, "We were standing with our feet in the water for the very first time." The lady on the right is a lady who's in her 70s and visited the seaside in Belgium, which is a very small country, for the very first time in her life because she'd never managed to get there before. And on the left-hand side is her accompanier who works for a social organization and helped her make this dream, although very late in life, possible. And I think that is a good introduction to what we as an organization at the network Why Holidays Matter, or also called Everyone Deserves a Holiday, try to do. I would like to talk to you about how our organization came in place and how it works. My name is Sepp Adams. I work as a network connector in this network, and I'd like to explain the history a little bit and how the system works today and what kind of challenges we are still seeing today and how we try to be innovative. A lot of what we do is evolving also around stories and storytelling. Our former director described it as follows: the beautiful stories are the ones we do this for. The hard ones are the ones we try to do to find our best, to find a solution for. And that's truly a goal and a mission. And innovation and the help of the Sociale Innovatiefonds from Thomas' side is sometimes very useful. What is the social issue or the social challenge at hand? Poverty, of course, in general, is something that leads to a lot of exclusion. Not only economic but also social exclusion, leading to loneliness, exclusion from different kinds of possibilities to partake in the different options of life. And in Belgium, as a general idea, we're circling around 16% of the entire population in poverty. For our region, Flanders, where we work, it's about 10%, 1 out of 10, but 20% of all children, so 1 in 4 families that can't afford a week of holidays a year. This is reported and confirmed every other single period. So that's the social challenge. Obviously, by working on holidays, which is what our network does, we are not solving the bigger issue of poverty, but what we're trying to do is work together with other agencies that work around the situation of people in poverty, and together with people in poverty and their representational organizations, to at least try and make this part of their life a possibility. It is that in itself is also a pretty complex problem to achieve. And we have actually 2 main policies. Our network is part of, we are actually a government agency. We work for Visit Flanders, and we have 2 main policies. We have the government subsidies. We make sure there's enough youth work infrastructure so that every youngster in Belgium gets the chance to go on a holiday. We also make sure social tourist organizations get enough subsidies. There's also accessibility subventions for accommodations and project subsidies. The social tourist organizations are really those organizations, there's about 20 of them, that take people on holiday who would never be able to go on holiday without any professional support. So that's how we do that. But on the other hand, the group of people that don't have the opportunity to go on holiday is a lot bigger, and the challenge is far greater. So for the last 20 years, we've been developing a system, and right now we're talking about a network, and the Why Holidays Matter network. And that's actually come to life due to a demand from the field. Those social tourist organizations said, we're feeling that we're not reaching a lot of people. There's so many other people that have this issue. How can we work on this matter? And then you have the traditional social tourism that evolved around unions and other holiday centers, where the unions had their members come to. All of that issue changed. It was built in the 50s, over the 70s, very popular. But in the 80s, 90s especially, there was a lot of democratization of air flights and holidays abroad. So a lot of the union members just went abroad on a very cheap, for a very cheap price, and didn't need the holiday centers that much. So the holiday center said, well, social change is our goal as well. We want to work on this issue of people in poverty and holidays, and we brought them together. At the start, that was it was a story of subsidized organizations, mainly non-governmental organizations, but gradually we realized that to reach more people, we needed to work this situation into a public-private story, and we started addressing also the private sector, private hotels, private B&Bs even, and that's where we are at nowadays. And this is actually how we work today. The network consists of 4 crucial pillars. On the one hand, the main goal are the holidaymakers, people in poverty, that are allowed to go to a maximum of 2 weeks per year on a holiday, or even go on excursions, and there's no limit to those. We have partners as well on that level. And on the other hand, on the right hand side, you can see the tourist partners that are crucial in making an offer to these holidaymakers. They give them a pretty steep price reduction, because they believe in the goals of the network, and they believe that everybody has the right to a holiday. on the top, you see social organizations and the Easy on Holiday offices. Well, those offices, I can talk to you about a bit later on, but the social organizations are crucial to our story. There's more than 2,000 of them in Flanders connected to the network, and we are talking about social institutions of the local government. There's also organizations that work with newcomers in the country, that work with people in poverty, that work with people with other needs. The whole different diverse gamma of what could of who could be reaching the people we want to reach, and they help us in getting there. They help us making sure people get to know about us, but also help these people go on holiday. And helping them means that they help them with suitcases, but they also tell them what is a holiday, how do you act over there, what can you do. And then we have a fourth pillar that consists of local social restaurants that usually work only for the people in poverty in the own community, but open their doors for our guests as well when they're in that city, and also some mobility partners that make it possible for us to help the people actually get to the holiday destinations. We call it a network of difference makers, more than 2,000 partners making a difference. And what you see over there is our brochure in which people can find the different options we offer to them. We're not directing them. They get the chance to choose. We try to keep our the offer as broad and diverse as possible. And that's a bit what we believe in strongly, that every partner in this network has their own tasks and their own strengths. And we try to use those strengths to solve all of the issues at hand within the network. Even holidaymakers have their strengths. They are probably the closest that we usually encounter what I mean to the best marketing tool we actually have. They talk to other people they know in the same situation, and it's the kind of trust that you need to reach those people and to tell them about a place that was really nice for them, or not nice, which can happen as well. We are the butterfly in the earlier picture. We are in the middle of the network, and we try to connect these people. We find new tourist partners with an offer. We connect holidaymakers and tourist partners and social organizations through a platform. We create a brochure every year, and bookings are actually made through us. And I have colleagues who do these bookings. They also check whether the hotel has availability. They check whether the holidaymakers actually are in poverty, etc., etc. A few of the goals that we have nowadays are growing and condensing the network, trying to make sure we have the right partners and the partners find their way in the network and can find also a way of solving other issues they have, and we try to connect them through the network. We're looking for creative and innovative initiatives. We do that through subsidies, but through different other ways as well. Usually, if there's a question, appreciative inquiry is a way that we usually approach things by looking at what is already working and how can we make this work for other things and other challenges as well. We work around the social rate and booking procedures. We might try to make them as smooth as possible, and we are the one focus coordination point in the network. Challenges within that network. We've been working for 20 years. More and more people are getting to know us, which is a good thing, but that means there's a lot of pressure on whether we can place all of these people in the July, August months, for example. Everybody wants to go to the seaside, just like the lady I talked to you about in the start, but there's only that many rooms that we can offer at the seaside. So we started this project called Discovery is All the Rage. Put your mind to discovery. We hook that story up to an actual very important story that we're also employing in Visit Flanders, where we're actually considering tourism just as a means to make Flanders a flourishing destination, meaning that it's flourishing for its population, for its local entrepreneurs, but also for the environment over there, meaning that people in poverty also can flourish and can go on a holiday, but also can be part of the pride as a local inhabitant towards their own spot. And this was a project that we were working on together with a lot of organizations that told us about, we are really proud about the local neighborhood. And this is what we do there. And so one of the startup points of this project was that we we created a walk where you would take the people in your organization on a walk, starting from home and just being surprised by what's around you, not knowing where you go. For example, writing, we take a turn on every green car that we see, and learning through that way how something local can be something meaningful for you. And in this way, directing also people to other directions in the country. And then COVID happened, and that was a big challenge to us. And actually, the innovative thing that we could do was that, well, that walk is something that you can do as long as you're not really quarantined at home. It's something you can do at a point where everything's closed. You can do that walk. We started convincing our organizations to go out to their to their holidaymakers, which was a very hard thing at that point for them to be able to be working outreaching, and this project actually helped them a little bit. On the other hand, we had a huge challenge for our partners that had to close. They were giving considerate reductions through our network, and we realized that, well, this was probably going to be a hard thing for them. And in this issue, it's interesting that we are a government, so that our minister could decide that she said, well, for the last 15, 20 years, some of these partners have been giving all of these reductions. Now it's our turn to be a partner that's loyal. And we started making support packages. We actually bought places at these spots so that our holidaymakers could even go on highly reduced tariffs, and none of our partners, touristical partners, actually had to pay anything, and they were getting the money, the full amount of money they would have been getting from any other client. So there's a lot of money that went into that. We also try to subsidize our infrastructure organizations, our care hotels, really as a means of survival. And then the network really showed its power. Some of the provincial institutions and some of the actual holiday organizations said, yeah, but can't we do something more? And can't the government or can't society do something? And that's when the fund or the foundation Everyone Deserves a Holiday came into existence. And what we're actually going to do is make sure that if people go on a holiday, they can actually give €1 extra to this fund, and we are going to use that money through our network to make sure that people who tell us that even with the reductions that are offered, they can't make it on a holiday, because we know that that is a big challenge still. Well, this foundation is going to help us use that money to add to the reduced prices, and make sure those people who are really can't afford anything to go on a holiday. So that's something we've learned through this process, that, well, we can do extra things for a lot of people. The new challenge is that even more people have shown up, and hiring new civil servants is not a fun thing to do for politicians. So we're at this challenge. How can we make sure that with the amount of people that we're at, we can still make this work? And that's something we're really considering as a, well, as a very hard thing to do. I've got some other challenges that were made up in this process. There's European legislation as well, but we're really trying to work on that now, and we're going into discussion with our partners in the next few months, but also probably a year, to see what we can do. We're thinking about perhaps slowing down on the story of the daily excursions. Maybe not slowing down, but making the process a lot easier for everybody to go, so that we have a lot less work on it and we can concentrate ourselves on the holidays. I think there's a lot of lessons learned. We encountered closer contacts with our network partners in this last COVID period, a feeling of being able to do something back. A lot of people, as I already said, were able to go on a holiday. That gives us a new challenge, but because the prices are going to go up again, so we need to find a solution for that. Processes have to be smoother for our tourism partners, and government bookkeeping needs more flexibility. So you see there's still that challenge, and we're talking with our bookkeeping of how we can arrange things in the future if this should happen again. So what we need really noticed is that that is what our tourist partners say, is that we got our boots in the dirt and try to get things done. That's something that we consider as a compliment. The future I already talked to you about. I think I want to conclude this presentation here. I hope there's some questions. I hope that we can talk about in a minute. And I would like to give you more info if needed through my email address that you will probably receive through your organization if needs be. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon.